Hi, sir. Uh, I'm Kavinda. Today I'm going to present the security management project for SportX. My student ID is 201-73619. So, uh, in the introduction, SportX is a specialized sports product company with a strong focus on e-commerce sales. Our main sales channels include our online e-commerce website, phone calls, and email orders. As SportX experiences exponential growth, it becomes crucial to secure sensitive information such as employee data, customer information, and our orders database. Then our company objectives are to access the current risk of the entire organization, to treat the identified risk as much as possible. These are the objects of this security system. And most valuable assets of SportX are the order database, customer database, product database, employee database in e-commerce websites. If I analyze the weight factor analysis worksheet, we can see that the criteria are orders, customer database, product database, employee database, and e-commerce websites. So there are some features of weight, data sensitive, business impact, regularity, and vulnerability. Then everything has a threat. So for this security management also has threats. When we talk about the threats in orders database, there will be unauthorized access, database corruptions. Then in customer database, phishing attacks, inside misuse. In product database, there are maybe data tampering, computer espionage, and in employee database, identity theft, unauthorized disclosure. In e-commerce websites, there are DDoS attacks, payment card fraud, so many. In vulnerabilities of access, orders database, there will be weak database authentication. And in customer database, the indicate encryption. Then in product database, lack of patching and updates. Then in employee database, insider threats. And in e-commerce website, there will be cross-site scripting. This is threats vulnerability assets. That means TVA worksheet. So you can see the threats, the unauthorized accesses, phishing attacks, data tampering, insider threats, DDoS attacks. So if we call about the vulnerability and assets, so you can see in unauthorized accesses, vulnerability will be weak database authentication and asset will be old database. So in phishing attacks, there will be inadequate encryption and the customer database. That's the asset. And data tampering. The threat is data tampering, and the vulnerability, lack of patching and updates. And the asset is product database. In employee database, there will be threat inside threats. And in e-commerce websites, there will be cross-site scripting vulnerability, and threat will be DDoS attack. So if we calculate the risk, this is the risk rating. So triplet 1 is this one, the unauthorized accesses. So the risk rate will be equal to 11. In triple 2, phishing attacks. So risk rate will be equal to 10. And in triplet 3, that means data tampering. The risk will be around 11. And 4, insider threats. The risk rate will be 15, around 15. And DDoS attacks, the risk rating will be 14. So this is how the risk rating analysis is gone. And if we talk about the treatment strategy for risk, so risk and the basic strategy. So unauthorized access to orders database. The basic strategy will be the implement strong database authentication measures. And the risk phishing attacks on customer database, the basic strategy will be the enhanced encryption of customer data. So risk data tampering in product database. The basic strategy will be implement regular patch management practices. And the risk inside threats to employee database, the basic strategy will be implement access controls and monitoring. So the risk DDoS attacks on e-commerce website, the basic strategy will be implement DDoS mitigation measures. So this is how the secured network design. The internal switch, there are and with the internal switch, there will be the firewall. That is the main thing. So, and there will be workstation 1 to the many workstations and phones and the database servers, so many. And with the firewall, there will be the IDS, IPS, the connectivity and the router and then the internet. And from here, it will be DMZ and the web server. So there will be possible protection mechanism. So you can see that implement a firewall between the internet connection and the internal network to control and monitor incoming and outgoing network traffic. Configure firewall rules to allow only necessary traffic and block unauthorized access attempts. So, and another thing that deploy an IDPS within the internal network to detect and prevent potential intrusion attempts or malicious activities. And apply encryption mechanism on data transmission and storage, such as transport layer security TLS for website communications and virtual private network VPN for secure remote accesses. And regularly update and patch software, operating system, and firmware in servers, network devices, and applications to address known vulnerabilities. Then deploy anti-malware solutions, including antivirus and anti-malware software on workstations, servers, and email gateways to detect and prevent the execution of malicious code and malware or viruses. And the other thing is the conduct regular security awareness training session to educate employees about common security risks, phishing attacks, social engineering techniques, and safe browsing habits. Thank you.